Hey guys, mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, bringing you guys another video on the global version of Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In this video, we're going to be covering the next upcoming Lost Chapters going live soon on global DFFOO, which is going to be featuring the return of Final Fantasy XIII's Fang. So if you guys didn't get a chance to unlock Fang when she first came out during her character event, this is going to be a good time to do so now because her Lost Chapters is coming. She's going to be a permanent addition for your party to be able to unlock. Now there's going to be some key differences that you guys are going to want to pay attention to with this Lost Chapters. First of all, this is going to be the very first Lost Chapters that is going to be having Cosmos and Chaos difficulty included in it. Now, you guys might have that question, oh, do we need to bring Fang to the Cosmos and Chaos? The answer is going to be no. So thank God you do not need to bring her as a requirement for Cosmos and Chaos. However, for the difficulties prior to that, you do need to bring her as far as the achievements goes. Now, to get the 1000 gems normally, how you would do it for the previous Lost Chapters, you have to go through the entire hard mode and things like that. For this one, moving forward, all you have to do is clear the level 100 EX stage, and after you complete it, I mean not clear, you actually are awarded with the 1000 gems, because they don't count the Cosmos and the Chaos for those completions because the rewards are going to be different. Now, with the release of the Fang Lost Chapters, we are going to be seeing synergy alongside Yuna and Tidus, and I'm fully aware that when Global got the Fang event, the original one, that it was Zell that replaced Tidus. However, for this one, I'm pretty sure they're going to be going with the same route that JP did, where Tidus was the featured other synergy character and not Zell, because Zell is supposed to be getting his EX Plus weapon during the Leviathan Ultimate Trials, which is also going to be coming out later this month. And that boss has a weakness to lightning, so it would make more sense for Zell to be in that banner versus Tidus versus him being in the Fang event, if you guys know what I mean, right? So, synergy is going to be Yuna and Tidus. Now, the banner is going to be featuring the debut of Fang's EX weapon. It's also going to be featuring the re-release of Tidus's EX weapon, and both of these weapons can actually be EX Plus, or aka realized, however you guys want to call it. So both of these weapons will have access to be able to get to those upgrades with this Lost Chapters. Now, the boss fight is going to be featuring the return of the Sahagun shamans, and when we actually cover it, we're going to be going over the Chaos version because there are going to be some key differences compared to the other versions of the fight. And last but not least, Fang is going to be getting a rework, a level 70 awakening, and Tidus is going to be getting a level 70 awakening as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into the details, starting first with Fang's level 70 awakening. So at level 70, she's going to be getting some new crystal passives, the first one being HP damage up all, coming from crystal passive level 65. It increases the party's HP damage dealt by 20% for 3 turns. There is no action delay, there's no turn count used, except during friend or summon. At 68, she gets Radiance of Power and Defense, which is going to be an aura that increases her attack and defense by 20%. At 70, she's going to be getting an extension to HP damage up all, so this time after you use the ability, not only does the party get the increase to HP damage, but Fang herself actually will be adding a 20% attack increase just to herself for 3 turns. And then finally, her Bloomstone is going to be giving her 2 additional usage for HP damage up all. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to her rework. So the first thing that she gets with her rework is a brand new framed buff. This one is called Fangs of Transgression. You could gain this particular buff by either using her Umbral Vice, Whirlwind, or her EX ability, which is High Wind and its plus variant. Now, it is stackable up to 5 stacks. It has a 6-turn duration, and what it does is it increases Fang's max brave by 10% per stack and increases her speed by 5% per stack. It also does decrease all enemy speed by 10%, however, that remains the same regardless of the stack amount. So that is what Fangs of Transgression does. Now, the next part of her rework that we're going to take a look at are going to be coming from her 58 and 54 passives. So starting things off first with her 54 passive, it used to be Smash Attack Up, Now it is smash attack boost. It used to be a 40% attack increase to self for 5 turns after initiating the chase sequence. However, with the rework, it's now going to be a 40% attack and 20% max brave increase to herself for 8 turns after she initiates the chase sequence. Her 58 passive is going to be remaining the same as far as name-wise goes, buff attack and speed up. Originally, it gave her a 20% attack and speed increase to herself while buffed. This time with her rework, it's going to be at a 40% attack and speed increase to herself while buffed. The next thing her rework is going to give her are some changes to her Brave Attack Plus and her HP Attack Plus. So her Brave Attack Plus in Saboteur F stance is going to be getting Brave hits increased to 2, and will also be receiving a Brave damage potency increase to 120%. The Commando F stance version of this is actually the same, gets an increase of Brave hits to 2, and also the Brave damage potency is increased to 120%. Now for her HP Attack Plus, this actually comes from having her EX weapon being at 3 out of 3 limit break, the base version of it, but I'm including it for this rework because her rework also includes the release of her EX weapon. So HP Attack Plus, coming from the Saboteur F stance, is going to be a one-hit non-elemental range, single target Brave plus single target HP attack with a 1.5 times bonus weak damage against a debuff target with an 80% Brave damage potency. The Commando F stance version of this is going to be a one-hit non-elemental range AoE Brave plus single target HP attack with the damage being dealt 1.6 times more against a single target and an 80% Brave damage potency. Now, as far as her abilities goes, Umbral Vice with a rework is going to be getting an additional usage. It's going to be having its Brave hits increased to 3, along with its Brave damage potency being increased to 240%. It will now have an overflow up to 120% of max Brave, granting her 1 stack of Fangs of Transgression for 6 turns, granting an additional stack if you're using this ability on a target that was already debuffed. It will now also be dealing a single target HP attack after Brave hits. Whirlwind is going to be getting its Brave hits increased to 3, getting a Brave damage potency increased to 150%. However, that potency is going to be jumping up to 300% if you have her 35 CP passive and if targets are broken or already broken with this ability. Brave can now overflow with this ability up to 150% of max Brave, granting 1 stack of Fangs of Transgression for 6 turns, and granting an additional stack again, this time if the target is broken by this ability or if they were already broken. Now we're going to go ahead and cover her EX ability coming from her base EX weapon. So it's High Wind or High Wind Plus, there is a plus variant. So it is a 3-hit non-elemental range AoE Brave plus single target HP attack, dealing 1.6 times Brave damage against a single target. Brave can overflow up to 150% of max Brave. This EX ability grants 2 stacks of Fangs of Transgression for 6 turns with a 300% Brave damage potency. Now the plus variant is accessible after Fang has Fangs of Transgression at 5 stacks. So keep in mind that having 5 stacks of Fangs of Transgression will give you access to the plus variant, which is going to be a 4-hit non-elemental range AoE Brave plus single target HP attack. The plus variant also deals that 1.6 times Brave damage against a single target. The plus variant has an overflow, this time at 200% of max Brave, and the plus variant also grants you that 2 stacks of Fangs of Transgression for 6 turns with a 360% Brave damage potency. At base, this EX ability does have a normal recast speed. Now let's go ahead and move forward to her EX Plus upgrade. So if you happen to EX Plus or realize this weapon, this is the following upgrades that it's going to get. So at EX Plus 0 out of 3 limit break, what it does is at the beginning of the quest, Fang will immediately start with 2 stacks of Fangs of Transgression for 6 turns. At 1 out of 3 EX Plus limit break, it's going to be increasing Fang's attack and max Brave by another 20%. At 2 out of 3 EX Plus, when using High Wind or High Wind Plus, it's going to be increasing the Brave damage dealt by 50% when breaking or attacking a broken target. However, it does not apply to the first hit. And then at EX Plus 3 out of 3, when using High Wind or its plus variant, it's going to be increasing the Brave damage potency for both versions by 20% and also increasing the overflow limit for both versions by 50%. Now, once you fully max limit break the EX Plus version of this weapon, as well as fully leveling it up, you're going to unlock the sphere, which is called Break, Hit, Attack Long. And what this does is if you have this sphere equipped on a character, when breaking a target or attacking a broken target, they're going to be getting an attack increase by 10% for 6 turns. Now, if you plan on building up Fang, the best artifact passives to go for are going to be Attack plus 108. Afterwards, you're going to want Grand Pulse Warrior Boost 2-star, and the reason why I put that above Max Brave plus 330 is because what it does is it boosts her attack and Max Brave, which is her best stats since she is DPS, while the enemy is debuffed. And if you're going to be using Fang, you are going to be applying debuffs to the enemies. And then finally, the third artifact passive that I would recommend is going to be Max Brave plus 330. So very nice upgrades for Fang. Now before I actually give my verdict on this character as well as her EX Plus, I want you guys to take the time to pause the video because we do have another beautiful infographic scrolling there, courtesy of the Tonberry Troupe, Inkwelder and Dreamy. So thank you again. Be sure to take the time to pause the video, guys, and check out the summarization of what Fang does. So she does get a very powerful rework, and one of the cool things about Fang is that her second ability is really her bread and butter, because what she does is she attacks all enemies with a brave attack and she'll break them, and what she does is the enemy being targeted, she's going to automatically initiate the chase as long as she's breaking one of the targets or all the targets. So that's the cool thing about Fang, is that when she's going up against multiple targets, her strength really shines. Now as far as her EX weapon and her EX Plus weapon goes, I'm gonna say it right now, if you happen to have that this character's full kit, you know, fully realized or EX Plus, and you also have all of her summon boards fully max leveled, you have the optimum artifact passives, this character can actually be chaos viable, because like how I've been saying with my previous videos as well as my recent streams for DFFOO, a lot of questions I get asked are, is this weapon worth it, yada yada yada. But you got to approach it differently now when it comes to the Chaos EX Plus era, because chaos fights, especially once we start seeing more of them in a specific chaos tower called the Farthest Ends of the Dimensions, or aka FEOD, it's going to be very important to have a diverse party, because every chaos fight is going to be having a different immunity, different resistance or absorption, different weakness, and you really have to strategize your party, and it's going to be all about party composition. So it's no longer going to be about, do I need to pull for this weapon, do I need to do this? So for Fang, this is my approach to her. She is one of the earlier EX Plus weapons. Her EX Plus is not bad, even at fully max limit broken. However, take a look at your roster and also take a look at the foresight, because we already know that we have an idea of what other EX Plus weapons we're going to be getting, and see if Fang is going to be necessary for your roster to be able to tackle not only her own chaos, but also some of the future chaos that we're going to be receiving. So should you pull, should you not pull? I'm going to say it depends. It depends on if you want to take Fang for the future of other chaos, but if you decide to pass on her, there are other characters that can actually fulfill her role similarly, because she is a character that does damage and also kind of messes around with that chase mechanic. Now the next thing we're going to take a look at is actually going to be Tidus' level 70 awakening, because he gets a level 70 awakening with the Fang Lost chapters. So he's going to be getting some new crystal passives. The first one being at 65, Buff Long Slash. It's going to be a 2-hit non-elemental single target Brave plus single target HP attack with a 150% Brave damage potency. It extends the duration of own existing buffs by 2 turns. And again, no action delay, no turn count used except friend summon. At 68, he's going to be getting an aura called Radiance of Destruction and Power. He's going to be getting a 20% attack and max Brave increase to himself. At C level 70, it's going to be extending the Buff Long Slash, adding a 15% attack increase to himself for 3 turns, and then afterwards his Bloomstone gives him a +2 skill usage for Buff Long Slash. Now the next thing we're going to take a look at is actually his EX Plus upgrade. So we already know what his EX weapon does. It does that 100% AoE HP damage. It's a ranged attack. It has a fast cast speed, but now at EX Plus, this is what it does. So at 0 out of 3 EX Plus, it's going to be increasing energy range overflow to 120% of max Brave. At 1 out of 3, while Tidus is buffed, it's going to be increasing his own attack by 20%, and it will also be changing his HP attack plus to HP attack plus plus, which is a 2-hit non-elemental melee single target Brave plus single target HP attack with a 120% Brave damage potency, a 120% max Brave overflow, and low action delay. At 2 out of 3, it's going to be increasing the Brave damage potency for energy raid by 120%, and it's going to allow Tidus to start the quest with Winning Spirit, which is going to be his framed buff for 3 turns. And then at 3 out of 3, Energy Rain is going to be getting an additional overflow of this time up to 150% of max brave. And then after you have this EX plus weapon fully max limit broken and leveled, you're going to be unlocking the Sphere, which is going to be full HP break hit speed down. I know that's a mouthful, but what it does is at max HP, the character with the Sphere, when breaking or attacking a broken target, is going to be inflicting a 20% speed down for 6 turns. Now, should you decide to build up Tidus and you have his EX plus weapon fully max limit broken or close to it, the artifact passives you want to go for are going to be attack plus 108 and max brave plus 330, so then that way he could be dealing as much damage as possible. So overall, again, pretty decent. You know, he got a nice upgrade there with his level 70 awakening. I do like how his 65 ability actually deals damage and prolongs his own existing buffs, so that's pretty cool. Now, as far as his EX plus weapon goes, it is pretty good. One of the things that I liked about it before it was even EX plus or realized is that it had a really fast recharge rate, and it was actually a pretty good EX ability because it deals 100% AoE HP damage. So that's one of the things that I liked about it. Now, the upgrade is actually, for me personally, I feel like it's somewhat minor, like it's decent. I mean, he starts off with Winning Spirit, which is great. He gets a better version of his HP attack plus, going to plus plus, and then it adds overflow, so then that way it could deal more damage. So again, it makes Tidus Chaos viable, but remember, it's all about party composition as we move forward with the Chaos era, especially because it is a very long era. So if you decide to build up Tidus and you get his EX weapon to EX plus and you decide to invest in him, then hey, that's great. He's Chaos viable. You could take him to specific Chaos fights. But if you decide to pass on it, again, there are other characters who could do similar things to what Tidus does, which brings us to the next topic of the banner. So again, we know the banner is going to be featuring 2 EX weapons. Both can be realized or EX plus. So if you decide to pull on it, you'll have 2 characters that could potentially be ready for the rest of, the Chaos era for specific fights. But if you decide to pass on it, at least with Tidus's EX weapon, you could get it again later on from the EX token shop, because they will be bringing that back during the FEOD 1 when we actually get part 1 for FEOD. So Tidus's weapon will be available there. However, for Fangs, unfortunately, the only time that it is featured is during the Golden Week, which, like I've been saying, we don't know if Global is actually going to get that because that celebrated 10 public holidays that were in Japan. So if Global happens to get it, then that is the next time it is going to be featured. But if you decide to pass on it and Global doesn't get that, it will be quite some time because it has yet to repeat on JP. However, I will mention something that JP recently got, which is having every single EX weapon available now, available in the EX token shop. So you never know, Global might get that feature early. I highly doubt they will, because that's pretty amazing. But if we do, then that's another way that you could potentially get Fang's EX weapon, because the only time it does repeat is during the Golden Week banners. Alright, so the last thing we're going to talk about is going to be that Sahagun Shaman fight, particularly the Chaos version of this fight, because there are going to be some key differences compared to the previous versions of this fight. So, first of all, both of these bosses, because there's 2 of them, absorb Wind and Holy, so do not take any Wind or Holy units. They are immune to initial Brave Down, Poison, Paralysis, and Sap. So unfortunately, I know Cloud just got his EX plus, which made him really good. He won't be able to paralyze them, but he could still deal some pretty good damage to them. They will have no resistances, will have that standard chase HP value of 40, and again, reminder, there are 2 of them. Now, some things to look out for. Usually one shaman will buff both of them and the other one will attack with an AoE Brave plus HP attack or AoE Brave attack. Their buff increases their initial Brave attack defense speed and also gives them enfeeblement up, which allows them to hit harder with particular elements. They inflict debuffs such as turn rate down, which is really dangerous, max brave down, initial brave down, attack down, and defense down. You want to watch out for Heavenly Bolt because it increases in power based on active buffs, and then they tend to alternate between single target attacks and AoE attacks. Now, one way that you could actually use Cloud for this fight is that if you happen to have his World of Illusions passive weapon, he can actually dispel the buffs. Now, he can't dispel all of them, but he could dispel a random one by one because of the passive that ability does. So Cloud can still be pretty useful. Now, we're talking by global standards here. So you can also take Warrior of Light. Even if you don't have him EX plus, you can actually take him because his shield can actually protect you from the incoming attacks. One thing that I will let you guys know is that since this is Chaos, you will be seeing them have an astronomical defense boost once they get to like certain HP ranges. And to top it off, when they buff themselves, it gets pretty crazy at how hard it is to deal damage to these enemies. So one thing that I want to let you guys know, and I did mention this during my 5 tips for my, approaching the Chaos era, if you cannot complete this particular Chaos, do not fret. You can still clear it. You can continue, and if you clear it, you're awarded with the 10 blue nuggets and the 5 red nuggets, which is the main prize for clearing a Chaos stage. Because I'll let you know right now, the only thing you're going to be missing on, if you decide to go for a completion without dying and getting all the achievements, is like 3 to 6 tickets. And for me personally, if you can't clear it, those 3 to 6 tickets are just not worth your sanity, worth trying to like scratch your head over how to complete it. So if you just want the nuggets, all you have to do is clear it, and then you can always come back to this, get vengeance on it when we have more characters with EX Plus, and beat it then. Which brings us to the actual gameplay visual showcase. Now I am going to be taking Fang. I do have her EX Plus weapon. Unfortunately, she is not very built up, but what I'm going to be doing moving forward for these gameplay visual showcases, especially because I want to showcase the Chaos version of the fight, is I'm going to be taking some characters that have gotten some massive upgrades, and you're going to see which character I mean, because I don't want this gameplay visual showcase to be too long, because as you can already tell, we've already covered a lot of information just with this Lost Chapters alone, just because of how much they've added, with the Chaos era. So we are going to be taking Fang, I am going to be taking Warrior of Light, and I'm going to be taking Squall with his burst weapon, again, because this is just a showcase, so you guys have an idea of what the fight looks like for Chaos. I just don't want it to be overly too long for this video. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to be bringing Ifrit. The reason why is because I want that attack boost as long as our HP is within range. So then that way, even if they buff up their defenses, we could still deal some pretty decent damage. And I'm going to be taking Unjammer Ryan's Squall, because his Squall also has the burst weapon. So here we go. Again, thank you guys for being patient and, going through all that information for this, because I know with Chaos, things get a little crazy. So with Squall, we are not going to waste abilities here, because he got some pretty massive upgrades, like massive upgrades. All right, so we're going to go ahead and use Umbral Vice. With Wall, let's just get that shield up. All right, HP attack plus, which is cool. And the key thing about Chaos 2 is because even the mobs have higher HP now, you want to be smart with your ability. So if you could get away with just using like just an HP attack plus or a brave attack plus, and some characters actually have some pretty good options with that, then use it, because you want to have as many abilities available when you actually get into the boss fight, because you're going to regret it if you're unable to take something out, or you're unable to have all those abilities available, when you actually get to the boss fight. Okay, so Squall. I'm glad Squall got this nice upgrade to his HP attack plus coming from his burst weapon. That's very useful there. Something for global players to look forward to, especially with the whole burst weapons and LD weapons now. Awesome. Okay. So now this is going to be the mid-boss fight. Well, it might be kind of tricky for global because we don't have as much power yet as the JP version of the game, but it should be pretty manageable. Just watch out, because it does deal that annoying AoE HP attack with its gravity spin. All right, let's just, you know what? We have shields, and it doesn't really matter because it's not going to deal brave damage to us. It's going to be dealing HP damage, so we're just going to do that. Okay. With Squall, okay, we have his EX up, so we're actually just going to go ahead and use his EX because it doesn't take up an ability and longevity, so it's pretty cool. With Fang, let's actually go with her Whirlwind. So as you can see, she auto-initiates the chase, which is amazing. Provided that either you're breaking or already attacking a broken target. So that's pretty cool. And we're just going to go ahead and HP attack plus with Squall there. Alright, and our last wave is going to be these guys, so just watch out because they can debuff you with some annoying debuffs. But we're just going to go ahead and just use that ability there. We can just do this. And we're going to do this. Here we go. All right, so here comes the boss fight. Again, you want to watch out for one of them is going to be buffing both, and the other one's going to do like an AoE brave attack. And they can inflict turn rate down, which is the debuff that you want to watch out for. It's the most dangerous one. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and kick things off with Whirlwind because I want that launch. And I want the additional damage that it causes. Perfect. All right, and with Squall, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and use this LD ability because what it does is it has a stacking unique icon buff that lasts 16 turns that increases the party's attack and Brave Overflow. So it's really, really cool. And what we're going to do here is actually just refresh the shields. Now, I will warn you guys too, this particular Chaos fight is going to be much harder than the one that we currently have right now with the Heretic event in Global. That one is kind of like a precursor to Chaos. Like, it's Chaos, but it's not like crazy Chaos like you're going to be running into with Fang Lost Chapters and moving forward. Okay, so it's going to AoE Brave Attack. Okay, it did some decent damage to our shield, but I think we could survive by keeping it on. Okay, so one of them is targeting Wall, so that's fine. We're gonna actually taunt this one. So then Wall's getting targeted. As you can see, look at that damage. Wall didn't even deal 1,000 brave damage with each of those hits. They were like at like triple digits, like 400, 300. So you could see how high their HP gets. It gets really, really scary just how high their, their defense gets, not their HP, their defense. All right, so we're going to go ahead and apply debuffs, and we're going to do the same thing to A once Fang gets her turn. And I might actually refresh shield. I'm just afraid that if we get broken, we're going to be in a really, really bad situation. So we're going to apply the debuff, and let's just see what happens. Let's pray that nothing crazy happens. Okay, so we took some HP damage, but that's okay. Our shields are at decent amount, so we're actually going to go ahead and just continue on with an attack. And what I might actually do is maybe try to launch with Fang. So I'm going to purposely leave A unbroken. And then with Fang, we're going to go ahead and initiate the launch with Whirlwind. Let's build up Brave for Squall. Get some damage on A. And one thing that I forgot to point out during the discussion for this fight is try to kill them both around the same time unless you're confident in your party's power, because one of them will enrage if its buddy dies before it. It will enrage, it'll buff itself and it'll enrage, and you don't want to deal with an angry single target boss that has its stats all beefed up. Like, it gets really, really scary. So just something to keep in mind. And it looks like we have Max Brave down there, which is unfortunate that my Wall's Max Brave has been lowered because of the debuff. All right, and you know what we're gonna do? Actually, no, we're gonna save it. We're gonna save it. So I'm gonna let them act one more turn, and then afterwards we're just gonna go to town, because like I said, you guys kind of have an idea now of how this fight is gonna go for Chaos. So we don't want to prolong it too long. Okay, our shield's almost dead. Okay, that was a little scary. All right, so they're both debuffed. What I'm gonna do is bring this Squall in. Now we're gonna go immediately into Burst for the friend unit. Okay, very cool. Nice. Okay. And if you guys are wondering if I did a video for burst weapons, kind of like an early precursor to it, I did. It's actually on my YouTube channel. You guys can check it out. It's one of the more recent videos that I made if you guys want an explanation about what these burst and LD weapons are, because I know that some of my global only audience is still curious about these new mechanics that JP gets, because like I said, it is a foresight. It is nice to see, and it's cool to see all these features that we're going to be getting later on for global Opera Omnia. All right. So Squall's gonna go to town with his burst. Really, really cool. All right, and then afterwards, I think its buddy might die first, but we have a lot of firepower with this team setup. Well, with two Squalls with burst, there's a lot of firepower. Okay. Okay, so its buddy... Did his buddy die before it? Okay, no, they're both still alive. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna summon now and focus fire B, just so we get some equal damage. Alright, so B, we're gonna focus on you. And as you can see, my wall's damage is suffering right now. He's dealing like 1,000 brave damage, which is a little scary. Alright. Alright, so one died before, so as you can see, it enraged. It put up all its buffs, but that's fine, you know. It's during a summon phase, so more than likely we are going to be able to complete this. And there we go. So that is going to be the gameplay video, gameplay visual showcase for this upcoming Fang Lost chapters, particularly for the Chaos fight. So again, guys, friendly reminder is if you feel like you don't have the firepower on Global when this actually goes live and you're unable to complete it, don't fret. It's just a few tickets that you're going to miss out on. The important thing that you want are going to be those nuggets, so then that way you'll have the materials to be able to craft those ingots so you could EX plus or realize those weapons that you're going to be using during this Chaos era. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I know it was a lot of information because of all the different changes with Chaos, but I am looking forward to making more videos for Dissidia Opera Omnia, so stay tuned. Mahal, God bless, take care.